Und da sind wir wieder bei The Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve, bei der nächsten Aufnahmesession. Heute ohne Musik sogar, also Musik wird gleich kommen, aber hier jetzt gerade beim Startbildschirm, wenn wir noch im Save-Screen sind. In der letzten Aufnahmesession haben wir die erste Gerichtsverhandlung gestartet und quasi herausgefunden, dass der Apparat von Hairbrain wohl Metall teleportieren kann, obwohl Hairbrain gesagt hat, es kann kein Metall teleportieren, aber das Opfer hatte eine Brille auf, aus Metall, und dementsprechend muss die Mordwaffe, der Schraubendreher, Andrew hieß der Schraubendreher, dementsprechend anders gelandet sein, wo er ist, nämlich da auf der Ausstellungsplattform, wo er gefunden wurde. Und Barock van Zieks ruft jetzt neue Zeugen auf und da bin ich mal gespannt, wer da jetzt als Zeugen kommt. Die haben das scheinbar mit ihrem eigenen Auge gesehen. Let's go! 23rd October, 10:44 a.m. The Old Baby, defendants ain't the chamber. Mr. Naruhodo, what on earth were you playing at just now? Or rather, what on earth were you playing at all along? My hypothesis! My amazing hypothesis! You've been picking holes in it from the start! Ah, sorry about that. But you promised me. You said you'd prove that dreaded explosion was an accident, not murder. You said you'd keep my precious invention from falling into anyone else's hands. But all you've done so far is try to undermine me. Die Sorgen eines Wissenschaftlers. Yes, I did make you a promise, you're right. I said that I believe in you and fight for your freedom to the very end. But I also told you I was no scientist. I don't understand your hypothesis. The fact is, there's an undeniable flaw in your logic, isn't there? Ah, but if I just run through some equations. Yes, you see, it's because my work is incomplete. Perhaps it is. Nevertheless, a man died as a consequence, didn't he? Oh! Oh no! You're right. You're so right. It's all my fault. And I have no right to blame you for my failures. I'm a disaster, not just as a scientist, but as a human being. Well, that might be a little over the top. And while we are on the subject, what about Baroque? He's being awful. Claiming his own university friend to be a murderer, you mean? He's a disaster, not just as a prosecutor, but as a human being. Ich glaube aber, Baroque muss das machen als Staatsanwalt. Er hat doch gesagt, er prosecuting case nur, weil es sein Freund ist und er das keinem anderen anvertrauen möchte. Also, und impliziert das nicht irgendwo, dass er ihn auch als nicht schuldig ansieht? Weil ein anderer Staatsanwalt würde dann ja wirklich versuchen, ihn schuldig zu kriegen, und Baroque tut vielleicht nur so. Aber vielleicht habe ich auch zu viel Glaube an Baroque und er ist doch ein Arsch. Aber diese Szene, die wir gesehen haben, spricht halt für was anderes. Oh, but no, wait, he's the Reaper, isn't he? Perhaps he's not classified as Homo sapiens anymore. Glad that's cleared up. Can I double check something with you? Ah, yes, what? The machine and demonstration you prepared. They were based entirely on your hypothesis, I presume. There was no trickery involved. I drew the plans for the machine with my very own hands. Every line was painstakingly drawn with the firm belief that science is the only future. So yes, it's true that my hypothesis hasn't reached maturity yet. But please, Mr. Naruhodo, you must believe in it. Alright, Professor. I understand. Counsel! Defendant! The prosecution's witnesses are ready to take the stand. Court is about to be in session again. Okay. Make your way into the courtroom, please. Also laut Hairbrain gab's keine Trickserei. It all hinges on that demonstration. if the professor's hypothesis is sound as he claims, it leaves him as the only person who could possibly have killed the victim. But on the other hand, Mr. Sholmes was adamant. A practical implementation, such as was attempted by the professor at the Great Exhibition, is quite impossible. So really, what should I be trying to prove here? Dass es nicht möglich ist, weil wenn es möglich ist, ist er der Einzige, der es gemacht haben kann, oder nicht? 23rd October, 11 AM, the Old Bailey, courtroom. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby reconvene the proceedings of this court. Counsels for the defense and prosecution, are you ready for the new witnesses to testify? The prosecution is ready, my lord. As is the defense, my lord. So, Lord Van Zieks, I believe these next witnesses saw the demonstration on the day in question with their own eyes. Indeed, they did. And as luck would have it, one of them is a police detective. So the testimony we are about to hear can be considered highly reliable. Perfect, a detective of all people. Oh nein, ist es Gina? Ist es Gina? Ich glaube, es ist Gina. The prosecution remains unchanged. Though it ended in tragedy, the demonstration in the day in question was scientifically sound. And consequently, the sole person with the opportunity to have committed this act of murder is the only other individual to have been present on the stage at the time, the accused. Sole person with the opportunity to have committed this act of murder, okay. Thank you, Counselor. The prosecution's position is clear. So, bring forth your witnesses now. Bailiff, show the witnesses in. The witnesses whose proximity to the incident on the day in question will clarify the truth unequivocally. Muss ich mir merken für meine Hausarbeit das Wort. Oh Gott. Und da ist Gina. Ja, okay. Witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court to hear. My name is Balthazar Lune. I am the impresario of all the hot air balloons in the vicinity of the experimental stage. Impresario. Theaterdirektor, okay. Mein Name ist Wilhelm Gottsreich Sigismund Ormstein. Deutsch einfach! Mein Name ist, oder mein Name ist, weil Name ist da klein geschrieben, LOL. Wilhelm Gottsreich Sigismund Ormstein. I have come to see the Great Exhibition all the way from my home in Bohemia. Deutscher Zeuge, ich raste aus. I'm very rich. Inspector Gina Lestrade, Scotland Yard. I'm a great detective. Even Sherlock Holmes agrees. Bohemian boy, a young boy who came to London to visit the Great Exhibition. His real name is Wilhelm Gottsreich Sigismund Ormstein. Und 11 Jahre ist er, okay. I was on security duty at the exhibition and I got to go up in one of them balloons. It was amazing. Gina, again. But she did mention that she'd seen the disaster from up in a balloon actually, didn't she? And she clearly loved every minute of it. There were 3 balloons flying near the public experimentation stage when the incident occurred. 2 of these witnesses were in one such balloon at the time and saw events unfold from the skies above. You make it sound like they were in the clouds. It was only an altitude of circa 60 feet, very low. Altitude, Entschuldigung, also eine Höhe. Well, you can't see nothing if you fly too high, can ya? 60 feet, about 18 meters then. Thank you for your introductions. Now, you will give your formal testimony for the court. kindly described exactly what you witnessed, especially those of you who had a vantage point above the stage. Ich find's cool, dass ein Deutscher ist, ein deutscher Junge. The view from 60 feet up. It was an incident terrible. I am only grateful that my balloons were not damaged. There's this huge bang from the stage, and then the next second another bang in the sky beside us. And from amidst the smoke, a cage appeared out of nowhere. The cage, it fell from the sky like a stone and crashed into the crystal tower. I didn't get a look inside the cage, but no one went near it after it crashed into the tower. Okay. A most extraordinary collective account, I must say. Could I just clarify something? There's a detail in the witness testimony that I've not heard any mention of until now. Specifically, that there were 2 explosions. More precisely, 2 explosions in 2 separate places, yes. Okay. When the demonstration began, the balloon carrying the 2 witnesses was around. Here. There were other balloons in the air nearby at the time carrying other passengers as well, to be clear. Bang. Then, as power was supplied to the machine for the demonstration, the first explosion occurred. The so-called birdcage that contains the victim disappeared from the stage, and a moment later, the second explosion occurred directly adjacent to the balloon carrying the witness. Also direkt daneben. The birdcage appeared at the site of the explosion subsequently, to plummet down to the Crystal Tower. Oh, okay. Gab's dann vielleicht einen Doppelgänger oder so und der Birdcage war actually in dem Ballon? Könnte das sein? I was very surprised. Suddenly a cage appeared before my eyes with a person inside. The blast was so hot, but I didn't want to miss a thing, so I kept my eyes wide. Oh Gott. Ich muss den German Accent eigentlich gar nicht faken, weil ich selber einen hab. I still have lots of money. Precisely, who is this curious infant? I'm told he is a young noble of Bohemian royalty. Apparently, he disguised himself in order to steal unnoticed into the great exhibition. Yeah, I am here in London on a sightseeing trip with my elementary school. Deutsche Grundschule. Oh man. We will have the benefit of a child's point of view in the testimony. Do we really need that? Ich wollte noch Bohemian. Bohemia. Böhmen. Keine Ahnung, wo Böhmen ist. Oder wo Böhmen war. Böhmen. Böhmen. Böhmen war eines der Länder der böhmischen Krone. Als ehemaliges Königreich Böhmen bildete es mit Mähren und dem tschechischen Teil Schlesiens das Staatsgebiet des heutigen Tschechien, ist aber keine eigenständige administrative Einheit mehr. Okay, und da haben sie scheinbar Deutsch gesprochen. Do we really need that? When I remove my mask, this is what I look like. Ah, yes, I see. A delightful face, I'm sure. Yeah, everybody says so. Great disguise then. The point is, the testimony of these witnesses further substantiates the fact of the court. Namely, that despite ending in an explosion, instantaneous kinesis was successfully demonstrated. And furthermore, that until the arrival of the police, no one approached the Crystal Tower where the victim fell. Therefore, only the accused, who was with Mr. Assman on the stage, could possibly have committed the murder. Yes, thank you, counsel. The prosecution's views on the matter are quite clear. So, the defense cross-examination now, please. Yes, my lord. Cross-examination. The view from 60 feet up. It was an incident terrible. I am only grateful that my balloons were not damaged.
Hold it!
There were 3 balloons flying above the experimentation stage at the time, I understand. See, all 3 of them, my bellissimi bambini. Achso, soll der Italiener sein? Soll der Italiener sein? The impresario of short pleasure voyages and flying balloons. The balloons above the experimentation stage all belong to this man. Auf jeden Fall glaube ich nicht, dass er Franzose ist, aber irgendwas Romanisches wird er sein. They are very popular, Signor. Okay. Signor? Ist das Italienisch? I have no idea. Some people will pay £10 for one ride. £10? That's more than my annual stipend. £20 a month. That is my pocket money. Warriors have all the luck. I got up there for free, I did. Played the I work for Her Majesty's police card, you know? Detective have all the luck. If they are so popular, why would you only be operating such a small number of balloons though? Because if I have too many in the skies, they could crash into each other. The operators for the balloons were decided by lots, with each operator manning a particular area. See! And the zone above public experimentation stage is the most profitable. The other impresarios, they hate me. Thank you, witness. I think the court has a clear picture of the arrangements for balloon rides at the exhibition. Perhaps you could hear more about what you actually witnessed of the incident. Right, I can fill you in here, my lord. There's this huge bang from the stage, and then the next second, another bang in the sky beside us.
Hold it!
So you actually saw the accident happen from up in the air. Yup! Isn't it amazing what a detective gets to do, eh? I'm telling ya, Otto, being a lawyer's a muck game. You should join the force and we can go flying together. You know me so well. Yes, well, anyway, could you tell us exactly what you saw, do you think? Everything! We saw everything cause we were up above it all. That dodgy cove climbing into that cage, and that dodgy professor pulling all them levers. And that's when it happened. That's when there was that massive bang and the cage disappeared. Just like that. You are describing the moment the subject's body was decomposed by the electricity, I believe. I didn't know what to make of it. But then there was another bang, right in me ear. I looked round, and there was a huge great fireball right next to us in the sky. And there was nothing there before. Okay. Was hat er zu sagen? Master Gotts, does your memory of the day differ? My teacher at elementary school said that when you meet someone for the first time, you should always use their full name. Ah, yes, what was it again? Wilhelm Gottsreich Sigismund Ormstein. Just the 4 names then. The point is, do you have something to say? Something to add in response to Detective Gina Lestrade's last remark, perhaps? Oi, get it right, Otto! It's Inspector Lestrade! Why does everyone have a problem with how I address them at the moment? That is not what I saw. Oh. Yeah, there was a second explosion and it was what's right beside our balloon. That is true. But I'm sure. Which is what I said, innit? 1 minute there was nothing there. The next a massive explosion. My teacher at elementary school said that when someone else is speaking, if you are rude enough to interrupt, you will have the most awful life imaginable. Are all Bohemians brought up to be so full of joy? Just before the second explosion happened, next to our balloon, I clearly witnessed a green balloon flying in the sky. A green balloon? Eh? You what? I never saw nothing like that. Well, I did! I saw it! And you can't say I didn't! I will complain to the council. I will cry and scream. My testimony is the truth. And I am Bohemian Prince. You can't say it's a lie. That is not allowed. Playing the bleeding royalty card. Ah yeah. Typical. Says the orphan who likes to remind people she works for Her Majesty's police. In that case, young man, I must ask you to amend your formal testimony. In the interest of cordial national relations between Great Britain and Bohemia. It was not the sky that exploded. It was the green balloon that was next to ours at the time. Und wir haben ja einen grünen Stofffetzen. Deswegen speichere ich jetzt mal und frage ihn, bzw. präsentiere das.
Objection!
Und es ist scheinbar falsch. That last statement would seem to be at odds somehow with the evidence. Okay, ja, schade. Hä, aber da muss es doch den Zusammenhang geben, oder nicht? Aber vielleicht entsteht er ja, wenn wir das dann attacken, das pressen. It was not the sky that exploded. It was a green balloon that was next to ours at the time.
Hold it!
A green balloon, you say? Are you sure about that? Of course I am sure. I am a proud Bohemian prince. All these questions are making me boring. Are making me boring? I think you mean bored. Ach, English is very annoying. The language of my countrymen is far superior. Ragazzo, it is very wrong to lie. Okay, der soll italienisch sein. Ragazzo ist italienisch. Lie? Flying balloons never explode. For the same reason the planets never explode. It is logical. Please tell me that doesn't mean logical. If you incite me, you incite all of Bohemia. Madei. I will have the army come and shoot all of your stupid balloons out of the sky. All of them. Oh man. Here you are, your highness. If only all international incidents were so easily resolved. Now that peaceful relations have been restored here in the courtroom, perhaps we could return to the testimony. Did you also see the moments that the cage materialized, Mr. Liu? No, I did not see the Explosionen myself. However, Explosionen. Jone? Ich weiß es nicht. The cage, it fell from the sky like a stone and crashed into the crystal tower.
Hold it!
Did you see that actually happen? No. In reality, I did not. I saw after it hit the tower. The cage, okay. There was a grand confusion around the stage. I went to see what had happened. I was terrorized by the idea that one of my balloons had crashed. I suppose they are his livelihood. But when I looked up to the sky, all my precious balloons were still there. I saw it though. I saw it slam into the tower. After all, I'm a detective now. Then tell us what you saw, Inspector Lestrade. That's what I like to hear. I didn't get a good look inside the cage, but no one went near it after it crashed into the tower.
Hold it!
Was it you who gave the order to keep people away? Eh? Use your head, Otto. How could it have been me? It was up in a balloon, weren't I? I was up in a balloon. Right. So cause I weren't available, it was the boss who had to leg it over there. He was getting shoved and kicked all over by the panicking spectators as he tried to seal off the scene. It was a real sight to behold, I can tell ya. Amazing! Poor Inspector Gregson. So anyway, I couldn't see the cage well that well cause of all the smoke. And I didn't really wanna see, to be honest. I was scared out of me wits. Keep it together, Inspector. The prosecution really is asserting that the demonstration was genuine. But what if it was actually some kind of switch around trick instead? That would mean that the victim was never actually on the stage in the first place. Sondern in dem Ballon, denke ich mal. The two explosions would have thrown everyone watching into a panic for sure. I think I need to find out more about what exactly people saw at the time. It was an incident terrible. I am only grateful that my balloons were not damaged. Oh wait, there's huge bangs from state, and in the next second another bang in the sky beside us. It was not the sky, though, it was a green balloon that was next to ours at the time. Vielleicht hier präsenten, ich speichere nochmal. Und halt dann diesen Stofffetzen.
Objection!
Ja, okay, das war's. Mr. Loon, in your testimony, you said that all three of the balloons you had operating at the time were undamaged. Oh Mann, mir fällt jetzt gerade erst auf, dass er hier oben so eine Flamme hat, wie halt so ein Ballon auf seinem Zylinder. See, that is correct. If they had been caught in the Explosiones, it would have been terrible. I wonder if you might know what this is. Ah, I think it may be... See, part of a balloon. A burnt piece of the fabric of the envelope. Sorry? The envelope. Pardon, that is a large round part of the balloon which becomes filled with hot air. It is made from very thick fabric lined with rubber. You do not want it to rip when you are in the sky. Just as I thought. Wie heißt es? The envelope, okay. Just as I thought, this piece of cloth was found near the experimentation stage. In other words, as Master Gods testified. A green balloon did indeed explode that day. Eh? If all the balloons in the sky above the experimentation stage belong to you, Mr. Loon, then your statement that they were all undamaged clearly contradicts the evidence. No! If a balloon explodes that day, why didn't the man say so? Maybe everyone on board was killed. Oh no, having just spent 10 whole pounds for the experience. How often? Seems to me like those things crash 50% of the time anyway. The instantaneous kinesis did occur, but after the explosion on the stage, the point of materialization shifted to a location occupied by a balloon, causing the balloon to explode. Yes, eminently plausible. An unfortunate traffic accident, as it were, but it changes nothing about the pertinent facts. This I cannot accept! Why not, Mr. Loon? You are suggesting that I am a liar. That persons died in a balloon incident. There's no need to get fired up, Mr. Loon. The victim was a sole fatality that day. That's right, and I prove it. Balthazar Loon is not a liar. There was no such balloon in the sky. It was not possible. It is non-possible. Okay. You're saying it's impossible. Why? This court has more important matters to discuss than the number of balloons that were operating that day. Aye!
Objection!
But we can't ignore the fact that nobody appears to have known anything about this other balloon until now. My lord, the defense calls for further testimony from Mr. Leon. I concur. There's clearly more to the truth here than meets the eye. It's imperative that we clear up the issue of this phantom balloon, I feel. Witness, you will give supplementary testimony about the balloons you were operating at the exhibition. Ah, Wasi, my lord. Witness testimony. Mr. Loon's Balloons. Mr. Ich verstehe jetzt erst den Pun. Mr. Loons. Mr. Loons. Oh Mann. Das ist painful. Mr. Loons. Warte, wie heißt er? Wie heißt er? Bartholomew? Balthazar Loon. Okay. Aber Balloon, okay. Ja, I get it. Oh Mann.